computer. There we go. All right, I'm Nell Tharp, an East Booth Bay resident and I don't know, facilitator for this meeting. Allison.
I'm Allison Evans, Booth Bay Harbor resident.
Great. And Rob?
And good evening. My name is Rob Trotta, and I'm the project director for New England Aquaventus.
Great. So Rob, has there been any new developments in terms of the location of the route?
At this time, I have no new information to provide to this group. We continue on with our review and our discussions. I must say that as I did last update, was the big focus of right now with a lot of our efforts continues to be working with the University of Maine, working with all the suppliers. It's one thing that like I've said now a couple of times, but I think it's worth repeating, that the design is there and the engineering is there, and we're confident with that. But the actions and the activities to take it to construction,
To production.
Exactly. Is what's really where we spend an awful lot of our time and resources and continue through. I've been forecasting previously that we need to get through. We really are pushing to get through this exercise this year, and that we'd like to have a decision, which we could get. I say decision, be at a point in which we could bring more to the community for further input that we think is executable, by year's end. And I think that's still really kind of looking that way, to the extent that we could expedite that or make it anything earlier to be meaningful, we will. But we're just not at that stage, and I think that's where we're continuing.
Okay.
I thought, if I may also add, if it's okay, I thought I read the article what you committed and everything as you put it to the select boards, was spot on. This is exactly where we are with our timing. The only thing I would add, as I've said I do each time, and I think it's important, is that the project is committed to these we're going to we're committed to get feedback, before we complete things, and we're committed to the community benefits agreement. So there's no, things are not going to progress, too far without like permits being filed, etc. Without that consultation, and we are committed to we will not get to a point of progressing with the project that you miss the opportunity for the community benefits. That's going to be there.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear. And, I think that one of the reasons why we want to keep doing these meetings once a month, even if they end up being very short meetings, is that we do have this touch base and we do have the ability to say, oh, wait, this little thing happened in the last month, and everybody gets to stay on the same page. So, in terms of the production piece, the manufacturing and production, I know last time we talked that you had discussion about looking for a location and getting all those things set up so that production was actually possible. Has there been any change on that?
No, all of that work continues. And that's a very good point, Nell, is that it's the where and the how. So we know the what,
right?
But where and the how is really where we continue on. And I don't have anything at this point that's matured enough that I could bring forward.
Okay, and that's fair enough. I mean, obviously it has to be ready for public release, and I respect that. And so from my perspective, having gone to the Booth Bay, so you weren't at the last meeting, correct?
No, I was not.
Right. So at the last meeting, we had a discussion, and I haven't posted any of those. I did post the video, but not the minutes. I just have not done that yet. But Trish was there, and we did have a discussion about engaging with the Booth Bay Select Board and getting someone from the Select Board to participate in these meetings. So that was a good move forward. Trish is going to be working out her term, but she did not seek re-election. So we'll be having to find someone else from Booth Bay Harbor to participate. So that actually will be okay, because we have Dale Harmon has agreed to come from Booth Bay, but he was very clear that he was unable to come this evening. So
That's
Okay.
if
nice.
we have two new people, that actually gives parity, so that the
Yeah.
towns can
Good.
start to work together. And our goal in this as a community group is to facilitate that process. So we will act as liaisons with Diamond and the people of the community who want to participate, if there are any, however many there are. Let me rephrase that.
Yes.
And so that we can determine a couple of things. So what we're looking at, Rob, is, do the towns want to each have their own project? Are they going to come to some way of, that this will be a joint agreement between the two towns and Diamond, or will it be two separate agreements? And will it be a project with two phases, one phase that's geographically in each town, or are they two separate projects? So there's a whole bunch of logistical pieces that we will be working out from this end, with the goal being that when you get ready to say, yes, this is a go, that there is a project that has most of the logistics, at least at a high level, figured out, and an agreement is able to be crafted at that point. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense to me. Yes.
Okay.
And I think that I agree with the Earl's approach with number one, keeping keeping these activities going forward. I just wish I could add more on a monthly basis to provide, but when I do, I will, right?
Right.
And then number two, that's keeping things moving, that as when you get to that point that we are go, that we have something material, to work with, with the community benefits agreement, the actual agreement,
Right.
and you're right, there's a lot of logistics here, or the mechanics, if you will, probably better, about the who and the entities, and will it be joint or separate, or how
Right.
you really want to move forward with it.
And so some of it, so I'm gonna just backtrack into, potential benefits if it were that it's a bike walking path from the substation to Bigelow, which is a logical thing. It may not be what's chosen, but just putting it out there as a potential, the development of that would be dependent on the route. I mean, not dependent, but would want to align with the route. If the route is going on down 96, we want to be able to know where the route is in order to be working with DOT about it. So we're all
Yes.
working at the same time at the same place.
Yes, of course.
Okay. All right. Allison, anything you have to bring to the table today?
Nope, I tried to get some guys that are going to be joining or wanting to join the select board of Booth Bay Harbor to join the meeting tonight, but whatever. I guess once they're elected, maybe they'll come to the meeting, but working on that
Yeah.
in Booth Bay Harbor, because we're going to lose Trish. So,
well, and I don't know. I know some of the Booth Bay Harbor Select Board, but I don't know everyone.
Yeah.
So, having the opportunity to talk with people outside of the meeting, and then potentially going back and presenting. One of the things that we did at the Booth Bay meeting was to put it as a standing old business item, so that there's the opportunity to come in and provide updates, whether they're by one of the community members that's on this group, or whether it's the select board member who's on this group. So
that's great. And do we already have that established with Booth Bay Harbor? Tricia set that up. No,
I don't believe so. So that's a conversation maybe to have with Trish.
Okay.
So that's set up before she leaves, so that it will make it so somebody has to
There's an action
participate to
item.
be- yeah. Yeah, that's a good action item.
All right.
And yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, that's why I was saying I don't see that this will be a long meeting. I didn't expect that there'd be a lot of change from your perspective, Rob, because your work is obviously at the other aspects of it at this point.
Yeah.
But I think that it's very optimistic that the towns are starting to coalesce in terms of going from, well, they're coming in and doing this, what does it have to do with us, to, oh yeah, we have to figure out how we're going to work on this. So, you know, the time is actually beneficial. And so is there a revised projected time to like place the, I mean, obviously there has to be a decision, you know, permitting is, how is the permitting going? Is that moved forward?
So we're not moving. We have a lot of activities on hold right now, to allow these activities to happen. So you think about it, you know, you can't, in order to progress with any permits, you need to know where and how.
Okay.
You know, so we've done an awful lot of work with the NEPA work, you know, for the DOE grants and everything else that's been constant. But a lot of the stuff we're kind of, there's a lot of activities now that are waiting for this
Next piece to
milestone to hit.
happen. Right.
Yeah, you know, because we can't move forward with something then to, well, the engineering, you know, the costing and the work at a location with a methodology, just to have to go do it again because it changed.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so there's nothing, there's
Right,
no
so
update.
everything is on hold until this piece is done. Okay,
Yeah,
but even that is helpful because, you know, you're seeing it day to day, but we only see this little snapshot. And obviously, we have a very specific interest, and that's, you know, that's only this big of the whole thing. So,
but an important piece.
yeah, I'm not, certainly would never diminish the importance of it, but in terms of the focus, I hear what you're saying, with the focus is now on the how and the where of the production of the actual platforms, and that has to get determined before any other pieces can go forward. Just to put
Well,
it, I want to put it in
exactly.
plain language in the video, so
Spot
if
on.
everybody's watching it, they can
Yes,
understand it.
yes, very correct now.
Okay, great.
Mm.
All right. Well, I think if we don't have anything else, I will stop this recording.